Betmaker Show. This is the horse racing picks preview for races that run at Churchill Downs on Saturday, May 30th, 2020. And now, live from Las Vegas, the host of the Betmaker Show, Brian Blessing.
All right, folks, Brian Blessing in Las Vegas, and we're excited for a big weekend of horse racing and horse racing in general. Just want to tip of the hat to Will Rogers and Fauner Park, the small tracks that got us through the teeth of the shutdown. Thought they did a great job, and Fauner Park had the $2 million pick 5 pool. People really gravitated to that. Here's hoping those two tracks reap rewards. More people pay attention to them down the road. So hats off. I thought they did a great job. Now we're focused on two of the big races on Saturday at Churchill Downs. And by the way, we're getting Del Mar and the Saratoga and the summer meets, leading up to what should be a wild summer and then a fall with the Triple Crown of the Breeders' Cup. It's going to be a great time in horse racing. And what's been cool is invaders coming to the tracks that are just up and running where tracks are still shut down. So you really got to work hard to kind of sort the Rubik's Cube, but there are price play opportunities. Now, the two races we're going to focus on Saturday are grade 3 events at Churchill's. One's routing on the lawn. One is a sprint, and that is race 7 at Churchill Downs. Post time is 4:08 Eastern. The $100,000 grade 3 winning colors, 6 furlong dash. Now, I would say, in this particular event, I think it's pretty chalky, and you could make the case that this is very much a 2-horse race. But the one thing that is possible, if a bomb was going to go off here, that would be that the race collapsed because the two contenders are in a speed duel. And if you were looking for the home run that could blow up the tote board, maybe you would look for the best closer. So of the contenders here, current form means so much. And that's the other thing that we got to be watching for long and hard here, is the difference between freshness and where you stand in a form cycle. Now, in this race, the number 2 break even is 9-5. Joe Rosario, who, by the way, is riding great, and he had the big win last week in the Shoemaker aboard Raging Bull, a Chad Brown runner, was just a great ride. And boy, that's a horse to watch for in the Breeders' Cup. And we did a podcast a couple weeks ago, said, ride horses down. Alert yourself when these horses are running back. Watch out for Raging Bull when we get to the fall. But in this race, the two I think you got to watch out for, trained by Brad Cox, who's just a money trainer. And oh, by the way, talk about consistency. Overall, in 2020, with 283 mounts, trainer Brad Cox has 70 wins, winning at a 25% clip. That's awesome. And here at Churchill, with 25 mounts, he's got 6 wins, winning at a 24% clip. So this guy's ultra consistent with a great rider. You got to love the connections. Now, the one thing here, the horse is 4 for 5 at the distance, 7 wins in 9 starts lifetime. Normally, you'd be saying this horse would be 1-9. Well, at Oaklawn, this one, just spit the bit off the shelf, but then came back and reverted back to the great form that we'd seen, and works well coming into this race, and comes back to Churchill where she's 1 for 1, likes the track, so that's a plus. The other one I think you would take a look at, man, am I a big fan of the Into Mischief runners. If you're looking at first-time starters, you see Into Mischief run to the windows. There was an Into Mischief runner that ran and won at Santa Anita from the rail, first-time starter, which and I played it, and you really have to push me to play a first-time starter on the rail. But this horse broke and won at 11-1 because it beat a Bob Baffert first-time starter. Love the Into Mischief runners. And here's a dandy. 10 wins and 21 career starts. The number 8, Mia Mischief. And the connections. We know Santana is the go-to rider for Asmussen. This one sits just off the pace. So now Mia Mischief, I think, would be more than content to sit just off the flank and breaking outside of break even. That could work out where he's just right off break even's flank and then come up, press, pin the horse to the inside. I give advantage to the outside runner, Mia Mischief. Or, Santana's got options and hopes that there's a cheaper speed horse in the race that will compromise break even for a bit and really set up the sustained run for me and Mischief. When push comes to shove, if a horse is versatile, has tactical speed, but that willingness to pass horses, to me, I look at a lot of times the need to lead type is one that can be compromised. I'm not shooting any holes at break even. I think this is a great horse, but I side with me and Mischief on the outside. Now, if these two got in some ridiculous prolonged battle throughout the course of the stretch, the race would have to completely collapse for this to happen. But the one that could come flying from out of the clouds, 15-1 morning line, is Bell's the One, the number 4. And this one is nowhere near as good as the two that we've talked about previously. But if these two wear each other down, this is one with a sustained run with a clean trip. And it wouldn't be so much that he's closing into them as it would be that the battle would have them backing into a horse like Bell's the One. I think it's a 2-horse race. But if you were looking for a bomb, Bell's the One could light up the tote board. But I'm just looking forward to what I think will be a prolonged battle in the stretch. And me and Mischief and break even, I think, very entertaining. And not a chance to make a truckload of dough here, I said, unless the race collapses or you key those horses and pick 3s. But that's going to be a race to watch. And it's going to be really entertaining. But I'll go with the 8, me and Mischief, in that 7th race, the grade 3 winning colors. We're going to take it to the lawn when we come back. For outstanding information and special offerings and promotions, we invite you and encourage you to sign up for our newsletter today simply by going to the website at betmaker.com. All right, Brian Blessing back with you in Las Vegas, and it's going to be the Get Out race at Churchill, and these races on the lawn are spectacular. It's a great turf course, gets great racing, and this is a wide-open event. It's the grade 3 Mint Julep, $100,000 the purse, a mile and a 16th on the lawn, and high-profile connections, really good quality, deep field. A lot of things can happen here. But to narrow it down, number 6, Nay Lady Nay, Chad Brown is the trainer and gets Jose Ortiz aboard, and he's a money rider. This one's been freshened, and it's the first race as a 4-year-old. Consistent runner, 3 wins, 5 starts. First race as a 4-year-old. And I think the preferred running style can come on from off the pace. I've got a funny feeling, though, this horse is going to be overbet just because of Chad Brown. And I think it's a good filly. But I think this is one of those races. And and I think you use it in exotics and you go on the leap of faith of just how, Chad Brown is just the premier turf trainer in the world. That you have to include the horse. But I do think there are some that could upset the apple cart. And one would be right next door, and that's the number 7 Secret Message. And Graham Motion is the trainer. The last time we saw this horse was in a grade 1 up in Toronto at the E.P. Taylor. And the only thing I'll say, remember earlier I talked about a horse, Raging Bull? And that was a Chad Brown runner that came off the E.P. Taylor turf course the last time we'd seen it. And it was, oh boy, this horse finishes 3rd a lot. Well, the horse was finishing 3rd because it kept running into Bricks and Mortar, who won the Breeders' Cup Turf. But that 3rd place result was going to eat the horses alive at Santa Anita Park, and it did. But he went off his 3rd choice because they thought, oh, the horse doesn't like to win. It wasn't the horse didn't like to win. It was who he was running against. And I think the same case can be made here for Secret Message. Comes out of the grade 1 E.P. Taylor. And this is one with a real strong closing kick and has one coming off the shelf before, has run well fresh. And I think this is a 5-year-old mare that I love. The stamina building works. Now, you don't see this very often. A 6-furlong breeze, a 7-furlong breeze, and 2 more 6-furlong breezes coming off the shelf. I think Secret Message is sitting on a monster race here because I think Graham Motion, who, by the way, is a 27% trainer, but when he's coming off a layoff, he's a 22% trainer. So that means a pretty healthy majority of the times that this guy's cashing tickets is when his horses are coming off the shelf. And a lot of people say, oh, I need to see a race. Well, the chance to strike is when the iron's hot, and that's when Motion's coming off the shelf. So I really like the 7 secret message. Now, maybe it's a theme thing because I'm going back to Woodbine and I'm going to the 13. And this horse, the 4-year-old filly, a daughter of Frankel, 20-1 morning line. Didn't race at Woodbine, but it's Woodbine-based trainer Roger Adfield. And this one's been freshened 2 races back, won a grade 3 event going wire to wire at Gulfstream Park, then went to a crazy, quirky 1 3/8 distance. And those races, they're so long, goofy things can happen there. I would view that race as more of a stamina-building workout and draw a line through it. But if you go back to this distance, 1-for-1 with a win at Gulfstream, first race in North America after starting in Europe, and I love the European horses, and then comes back off a maiden race and wins a grade 3 at 1 3/16. And again, that day went to the front end. But this horse has shown the versatility to win on the lead and from off the pace. And the 13 hole, not optimum, but I think there's versatility here. And clearly, this 4-year-old filly, I think, is a sneaky price play. And I'm doing it based on historic data and personal preference for a trainer like Roger Adfield that not a lot of people know about. And let me tell you something. He eats them alive at Woodbine all the time. And a lot of these guys will come down and not do anything down in the States. But Roger Adfield will show up at Keeneland or Gulfstream. And where he strikes in the States, it's not on the dirt. It's on the lawn. So I think there's a real nice prize play with Roger Adfield's horse, the 13 Elizabeth Way. But I think the 7 is the one that can upset the apple cart here. I just love the preps that Graham Motion has for Secret Message. The number 7 at 8-1 might be a very nice prize play for you. But this is going to be an exceptional race on the lawn. It's the get-out race at Churchill. And again, what we try to do here on this podcast is just read between the lines and don't sleep on the human connections and all the things that go into trying to find the right horse, trying to find the winner, but trying to find the winner at the right time. Because you want to play this horse when it's 8-1, not that if it wins the race today and comes back 2-1 or 5-2 in the next race. And I think you get the price play opportunity now on a horse like Secret Message. Have a great weekend. Should be a fun weekend of horse racing in North America.
Betmaker, let's make some money tonight.
Well, that's the Betmaker Show for now. We publish multiple times each week. We'd like to thank you for listening. And if you liked what you heard, please take a moment to leave a rating and review, or subscribe to our show feed, or share our show with a friend or two and help us grow the show. We very much appreciate it. Visit us on the web at betmaker.com. And reminder to sign up for the newsletter. Thanks to our engineer, Darren Vandermolen, and producer, Mike Gallivan. The Betmaker Show is a production of Cardinal Marketing Incorporated. Betmaker is a registered trademark. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of this content without the express written consent of Cardinal Marketing Incorporated is strictly prohibited.
The handicapping and sports odds information contained on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm the wagering regulations in your jurisdiction, as they vary from state to state, province to province, and country to country. Using this information to contravene any law or statute is prohibited. The podcast is not associated with, nor is it endorsed by any professional or collegiate league, association, or team. This podcast does not target and is not intended for an audience under the age of 18. If you think that you have a gambling addiction, stop this podcast now and please seek help.
Gambling and betting on sports is a form of entertainment and should be about having a good time. But when done excessively, it may negatively affect other areas of a person's life, such as their physical and mental health, school or work performance, finances, and or interpersonal relationships. At betmaker.com and the Betmaker Show, we're concerned about the addiction that gambling may cause, and for this reason, we encourage everyone to practice responsible gambling, an approach to gambling that helps you ensure that it remains an enjoyable activity. Here are the main principles of responsible gambling. Don't think of gambling as a way to make money. Always gamble with money that you can afford to lose. Set limits and stick to them. Never chase losses. Don't gamble when you're depressed or upset, and create a healthy balance. Always be aware of how much time you spend gambling or thinking about gambling. And do not allow gambling to cause you to miss out on time with family and friends or time spent on other activities you enjoy. By following these guidelines, gambling can be a good time and great entertainment. If you feel at any time that your gambling is taking away from important areas of your life, is causing you stress or depression, or is leading to financial losses that are beyond your control, please reach out for help. Learn more at responsiblegambling.org.